What's up, everybody? I gotta get going on this. Sorry if you can't hear me, but this is my Smart Primer mask. Nah, I have to look up and I get spray, overspray on me all over my face and in my eyes especially. That's why I like the bill over it, because it stops it from going in my eyes. Unfortunately, I gotta get these out of my life, but I put a little hole, if I can find the damn thing. Yeah, anyway, put a little hole in here. That's my filter, you know what I'm saying? I got all kinds of filters. Nah, we'll just use this. This is Smart Primer. As you can see, there's rust all over the place. This stuff won't allow the rust to flash. Check out my last couple videos, you'll see. Smart Primer, it's a hybrid alkyd. It may flash the first time, but it won't flash the second. Water spots on your drywall, metal, and it adheres the best to all forms of material. PVC, AZEK, plastic, metal, wood, doesn't matter. Drywall, it'll adhere to it. And I mean, you'd have to scrape it off or cut it off. And it's even harder to do that. And it has a polyurethane in it. It's low, I believe it's a 5% polyurethane, which creates a satin base, which gives it waterproof properties. And right on the label itself, it's interior and exterior. I've used it to coat houses before. Finished product. One of the most pretty houses I've ever painted, I used Smart Primer. I did 3 full coats, and with spray, back brushing, on clapboard, old 200-year-old trim. So 3 coats, and I'll tell you, it come out so nice. I wouldn't do it differently if someone paid me. I went around to all the different stores, and I asked them to provide me with 1 gallon of paint. That was their alkyd-based primer, a water-based primer, that would stick to 200-year-old lacquer on wainscoting in a lawyer's office. I was doing a job for Fairway Mortgage, and it used to be a lawyer's office, and they were turning it into a mortgage office. And they wanted to paint everything white. So I had to paint wood that had been coated with oil-based lacquer for 200 years over and over and over again and expect it to stick. So that ended up being really easy with Smart Primer. Smart Primer not only adhered to everything, but it also allowed zero flashing. A lot of it, even on the first coat, I was really surprised. I went through 5 different products from 5 different stores. You can find Smart Primer at almost any Lowe's, anywhere that carries Zinsser products. Now there's a time and a place for kills. There's a time and a place for bins. Actually, no, there isn't. I don't like bins at all. I use kills to coat fire restoration, that where soot is all over everything, you gotta paint it on. That creates a good base. I have done it with Smart Primer, but the man that I did the jobs for, the fire restoration company, he didn't like the Smart, he'd rather go with the kills. Yeah, the kills. So, you know, but this Smart Primer is awesome. Low VOC, and you see how yellow this wood is? Watch this. This was stained wood, has stain on it, okay? It was brown. Then I put 2 coats of powder, powder coat, basically a flat white, and it yellowed really badly. I can't go too heavy or else it'll create bad holidays and drip everywhere, so I'm not going to coat the heck out of it. But you'll see that's not going to flash. It's not going to turn brown or yellow at all. And if it does, chill out, because the second coat it'll be perfect. Sometimes what's behind the Smart Primer is so wet that it leaks through the alkane, right? And gets on top of the polyurethane before the poly has the time to dry. That probably isn't, because it's so old, it's been there for a while, and it's been steaming for a long time. I have yellowing on this ceiling that I've been fighting ever since I started coating it. And I'm actually having no problem at all with even this first coat. Now remind you, this first coat, I'm going pretty light. Like, I'm not going heavy at all on this coat. Because if I learned anything from this job, it's that I'm probably going to get holidays. All of my exterior walls of this apartment are old drywall that's already been painted before. Well, all my interior walls are all drywall that have never been painted before, because I built them. So I go and use the same, speed and whatever for these is that, and I always forget. It's hard to differentiate when you're running the sprayer. So this coat, I'm going to try to go a little lighter, even more lighter than I were. I had a heads up on it. I knew I had to be light, but I still had a couple of holidays. So I'm trying to make sure I don't run into that this time. I would much rather just come through and spray more paint than have to sit there and sand it. Especially this stuff has lacquer in it, so it's going to be a hard act to follow if I have to sand this stuff. But remember, this has 60% talc in it, T-A-L-C, it's a powder. It's literally like gypsum or lye, right? So it's actually sandable too. So it's still a primer, but it has 5% lacquer. Very light, acts as a satin or a matte, more of a matte, but it is still sandable, so it's not horrible to sand at all. However, I don't want to plan on having to sand holidays, so we're going to go nice and light on this coat. Almost a dusting in a way. Let me cut this wall. Ceiling. Wow, the yellowing's gone instantly. That's awesome. Real good. You gotta be real careful when you spray your first coat on anything, because you don't know how well it will receive it. You don't know if it's going to sag. You don't know if it's going to you don't know if it's going to sag, you don't know if, it's going to take it well. So I'm trying to take my time and just wait and see how this is taking it. Now this was a flat. This is existing. It was here before I got here, the drywall. So that's probably going to actually take it better because it's never had a sheen on it. It's never had a polyurethane based paint on top of it. It's always been flat. But these walls, just this and this wall, these two walls, have had polyurethane based paint, semi-gloss, satin, body paint, right? So these aren't going to accept the paint well. So I'm just going to go through, paint this wall, and make sure I see how it goes here. was light enough, right? Alright, that was super light. I just want to see how that cures. So as you can see here, it's coated pretty well, but when you back up, you can see the lines kind of like where it wasn't all the way. That's fine. It's a first coat. You're establishing a base. You're establishing a whole new chemical bond. It's a different paint. You don't want to go super heavy on it. It's not going to stick as well. It's not going to soak in as well, right? Especially once you put that second other coat on, because now, once that dries, that polyurethane will come out to the top. Because when paint, the thickness of paint, when you think of it as a micrometer, it's super thin. But when you blow it up and look at it, you've got, against the wall, you've got binding polymers. And then you've got pigment. And then you have your polyurethane. Right? So you got adhesion, which it connects to the pigment, the color. This is white, so it's a shade of white, right? And then the lacquer that sits on and floats on top of that, like water and oil, right? So as it cures, as it dries, the binding polymer will go to the wall and grab, the pigment will stick to that, and then the polyurethane will stick above the pigment, and it all separates itself as it cures and settles, okay? So here we go. That's your 101. I'm gonna complete this task. As you can see, look at how nice that comes out there, right? Compared to this. Now, I need to get fancy and I gotta get going. So I got a big apartment to spray, right? I'm gonna use all of those same methods to do the rest of this apartment, and pray for me that I remember only that wall I gotta be light on, and then the rest I can go somewhat moderate. Only that wall I gotta be light on, the rest I can go somewhat moderate. All of these walls except for, no, all that wall is on brand new drywall too, because I replaced all that wall as well. I had to rip it all open basically. Actually, the top part, no, I ripped that off and I ripped that off. So it's all brand new drywall. And that little portion right there is brand new drywall, but that don't matter. There's a lot of different types of material here. I have aluminum, then I have wood, then I have old plywood that's drywall that's probably, it's gotta be 60, 70 years old, that's been painted many, many times. And then we've got new drywall, and then we have galvanized steel, then we've got Luan. I found out that this is actually Luan plywood. Then we've got pine board that's been stained. More pine board that's been stained. And you can see that's actually kind of yellowing, but I probably didn't spray it very well. And I don't want to, like I said, go too heavy on it. Oh, then I've got all these different types of woods in there that have had different types of coatings on them. And I think I'm going to spray at least the exterior there, just so that make sure that my this doesn't rot in the future. It's pressure treated, but you know, come on, I'll throw a coat on it. Give it some protection at least for the long-term future. But yeah, I'm gonna get to it and I will attach the next video. Main Man Squanto. I'll catch you at the next step. Main Man Squanto. Out.